August 15th, a date etched in the heart of every Indian. It marks the day our nation broke free from the shackles of colonialism. A day we won our freedom. A day to remember the sacrifices of countless freedom fighters. We pay homage to their unwavering spirit. Their courage continues to inspire us. This day is a celebration of their victory. It is a reminder of the long and arduous journey to independence. We must never forget the price they paid for our freedom. Let us honor their memory by cherishing the hard-won fruits of their struggle. Our journey began centuries ago, in an era when the world was vastly different from what we know today. The winds of change were blowing across continents, bringing with them explorers and traders from distant lands. The East India Company arrived on our shores in the 1700s, not as conquerors, but as merchants. They came with the promise of trade and prosperity, seeking the exotic spices and precious riches that our land had to offer. They came as traders, seeking spices and riches. Gradually, their ambitions grew. What began as simple trade soon turned into a quest for control. The allure of wealth and power was too great to resist. They exploited our resources and divided our people. The once harmonious communities were torn apart by the policies of divide and rule. The social fabric of our nation began to fray under the weight of colonial exploitation. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 marked a turning point. It was not just a battle, but a decisive moment that changed the course of our history. The victory of the East India Company solidified their power and paved the way for further expansion. The company's grip on India tightened. With each passing year, their influence grew stronger and their control more absolute. The British flag flew over our forts, a symbol of their dominance. By 1857, resentment against British rule had reached its peak. The Sepoy Mutiny erupted, a powerful expression of the growing discontent among the Indian soldiers, or sepoys, who served under British command. It was a valiant but unsuccessful attempt to overthrow the British. The battles and skirmishes that ensued were fierce and bloody, but ultimately, the rebellion was quelled. The rebellion was brutally crushed. The aftermath was devastating, with widespread reprisals and harsh punishments meted out to those who had dared to rise against the colonial rulers. However, it ignited the flame of resistance. The spirit of defiance could not be extinguished. Secret meetings and underground movements began to take shape, laying the groundwork for future struggles. The desire for freedom began to burn brightly in the hearts of our people. The dream of an independent India started to take root, inspiring generations to come. The dawn of colonial rule had set the stage for a long and arduous journey towards liberation. The struggle for independence gained momentum in the following decades. The seeds of resistance were sown early, but it was in the 20th century that the movement truly began to flourish. The spirit of defiance against colonial rule spread like wildfire, igniting the hearts of millions. Leaders from all walks of life emerged. They were not just politicians, but also poets, writers, and social reformers. Each brought their unique perspective and strength to the cause, uniting under the common goal of freedom. They challenged the British Raj through various movements. From non-cooperation to civil disobedience, every act of defiance was a step towards liberation. The British, with their oppressive policies, only fueled the fire of resistance. There were calls for social reform and self-rule. The demand for Swaraj, or self-governance, became the rallying cry for millions. Social reform movements aimed to eradicate the deep-rooted injustices within Indian society, making the fight for freedom also a fight for equality. The Indian National Congress was formed in 1885. It became the principal organization spearheading the independence movement. Initially, it sought to address grievances through dialogue, but as the British response grew harsher, the Congress adopted more assertive strategies. It provided a platform for Indians to voice their demands for independence. The Congress sessions became a melting pot of ideas, strategies, and visions for a free India. Leaders debated, planned, and mobilized the masses, turning the Congress into a formidable force. The fight for freedom took many forms, from peaceful protests and boycotts to underground revolutionary activities. Every effort was a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Indian people. Each protest, each march, was a step closer to the dream of independence. There were peaceful protests, civil disobedience, and revolutionary movements. The philosophy of non-violence, championed by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, coexisted with the more radical approaches of revolutionaries who believed in direct action. Leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Lala Lajpat Rai emerged as prominent voices of dissent. Their writings, speeches, and actions inspired a generation to rise against colonial oppression. They inspired millions with their unwavering commitment to Swaraj, self-rule. Their legacy is a testament to the power of resilience and the unyielding quest for justice. The seeds of resistance they planted eventually blossomed into a full-fledged movement that changed the course of history. In the early 20th century, a new era dawned. The streets of India were bustling with a sense of awakening and a desire for change. The winds of freedom began to blow, carrying with them the hopes and dreams of millions of Indians yearning for independence. Mahatma Gandhi emerged as the leader of the Indian independence movement. With his simple attire and profound wisdom, he captured the hearts of the people. His presence was a beacon of hope, guiding the nation towards its ultimate goal of freedom. His philosophy of satyagraha, truth and non-violence, resonated with the masses. Gandhi believed that true strength lay in the power of the soul and the purity of one's actions. He taught that non-violence was not a sign of weakness, but a powerful tool for social change. Gandhiji, as he was fondly called, led from the front. He was not just a leader, but a symbol of resilience and determination. His marches and fasts were not mere protests, but acts of moral courage that inspired millions to join the cause. He mobilized the entire nation against British rule. From the smallest villages to the largest cities, people from all walks of life united under his leadership. The collective spirit of the nation was awakened, and the call for freedom echoed across the land. The non-cooperation movement of 1920 saw millions of Indians boycotting British goods and institutions. This movement was a significant step in the struggle for independence, as it demonstrated the power of collective action and the willingness of the people to sacrifice for their country. The civil disobedience movement of the 1930s further intensified the struggle. Indians defied British laws, refusing to pay taxes and breaking colonial regulations. This movement showcased the unyielding spirit of the people and their determination to achieve self-rule. Gandhi's iconic Dandi March, where he walked over 240 miles to protest the salt tax, became a symbol of resistance worldwide. This act of defiance was not just about salt, it was a statement against oppression and a call for justice. The march galvanized the nation and drew international attention to India's struggle for freedom. Section 5. The Final Struggle. Quit India and its Aftermath. As World War II engulfed the globe, India's demand for independence reached a crescendo. In 1942, Gandhi launched the Quit India movement. It called for an immediate end to British rule. The movement witnessed unprecedented mass participation. Thousands were jailed, and many lost their lives. The British Raj realized that their time was up. The war had weakened their empire. India's unwavering demand for freedom could no longer be ignored. Finally, after centuries of struggle, India's independence was on the horizon. Section 6. A Tryst with Destiny. August 15, 1947. The day dawned with a mix of anticipation and exhilaration. India woke up to freedom. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, addressed the nation. His Tryst with Destiny speech resonated with the hopes and aspirations of 1 billion people. The journey had been long and arduous, but our spirit remained unbroken. We had finally achieved our dream. India was free. Today, we celebrate Independence Day with immense pride and joy. The tricolour flutters high in every corner of our nation. Schools and colleges organize cultural programs. Patriotic songs fill the air. We remember and pay homage to our freedom fighters. It is a day for reflection. We reflect on how far we have come as a nation. We acknowledge the challenges that lie ahead, and we reaffirm our commitment to building a stronger and more prosperous India. The Indian flag, our tricolour, is a symbol of our national pride. It represents the unity and diversity of our nation. The Ashok Chakra, the wheel of law, reminds us of our commitment to justice and progress. The national anthem, Jana Gana Mana, evokes a sense of patriotism and unity. These symbols are not just emblems. They represent the values and aspirations of 1 billion people. They remind us of the sacrifices made by our forefathers. They inspire us to strive for excellence in all spheres of life. Freedom is a precious gift. It comes with responsibilities. As citizens of free India, we have a duty to uphold the values of our Constitution. We must strive for a just and equitable society. We must work towards eradicating poverty, illiteracy, and discrimination. Our nation's progress depends on the active participation of every citizen. Let us work together to build a stronger, more inclusive, and prosperous India. Let us make our nation a beacon of hope and progress for the world to see. As we celebrate Independence Day, let us remember the immense sacrifices of our freedom fighters. Their legacy should inspire us all to work towards a better tomorrow. Let us pledge to uphold the cherished values of unity, democracy, and secularism in our nation. Let us work together to build a nation that they would be proud of. Jai Hind.